red one brass bell hung above the auction stand. It rang for horses, rings and rifles, and once for stolen land. I wore a vest of yellow silk, called bids with polished teeth, could sell a cracked up saddle like it carried royalty beneath. The banker brought me papers with a widow's name misspelled. Said call her farm by noon tomorrow and ring that little bell. Ring, bell, ring, but don't you sing for me. Every dollar on that table buys a chain nobody sees. If you sell a roof from children and call it law and tax, you'll hear your name at sundown in Calico Flats. She came in holding baby shoes and a deed with water stains. Said, mister, that land was my husband's, he is buried by the grains. I looked past her to the cattlemen with their wallets open wide. Then I sold a stove, a rocking chair, and the fence where roses died. Ring, bell, ring, but don't you sing for me. Every dollar on that table buys a chain nobody sees. If you sell a roof from children and call it law and tax, you'll hear your name at sundown in Calico Flats. Last night that bell came walking through the hallway of my room. No rope, no hand, no tower, just a brass mouth full of doom. It rang once for the cradle, twice for the wedding bed, and the widow stood beside me with auction dust upon her head. Ring, bell, ring, now the bidding's done on me. No banker's ink can cover what the moon was made to see. If they find my vest at morning where the empty stand sits black, tell the widow bought my silence and God would not sell it back. Calico Flats has no brass bell, no auctioneer, no crowd. But when rich men pass that empty stand, something rings beneath the ground. St. Elmo was a dust-worn town where no church bell would stay tuned. They said the dead could hear your boots beneath that copper moon. I found the spurs in a cedar box behind the livery walls, silver teeth and leather straps with no man's name at all. Old man Briggs said leave 'em sleeping, they belonged to Caleb Raines. He rode one night to clear his name and never broke those chains. Don't wear the the silver spurs, boy. Don't let them kiss your heel. They'll take you where the coyotes prey and make the dead things kneel. You may ride out as a living man, but you won't return the same. Don't wear the silver spurs that still remember rains. Caleb loved the mayor's daughter, lily of the pale blue dress, but her father sold a promise for a railroad man's address. They found that railroad fellow with a knife beside the well. Caleb swore his hands were empty, but the town had a rope to sell. Don't wear the silver spurs, boy. Don't let them kiss your heel. They'll take you where the coyotes prey and make the dead things kneel. You may ride out as a living man, but you won't return the same. Don't wear the silver spurs that still remember rains. I buckled them at sundown just to hear the old lyre ring. My horse went stiff beneath me like he'd seen an unseen thing. Past the dry wash, past the bone tree, past a grave with bridal lace. I heard Lily calling Caleb with my own voice on her face. Don't wear the silver spurs, boy. Don't let them kiss your heel. Some graves don't want forgiveness. Some truth cut through the seal. By morning St. Elmo knew it. The mayor's hands bore stains, and I rode off behind Caleb, wearing silver dust and chains. They found the spurs at daybreak on the courthouse steps laid crossed. But every night near St. Elmo, two riders count the lost. They built a court in Jericho flat from cedar, rope, and bone, but the judge who rode in Friday cast no shadow of his own. His coat was black as well water, his hat was gray with dust. He laid a rusted pocket watch beside a Bible split with rust. No jury sat before him, no sheriff barred the door. Just 12 empty chairs in silence, and my bootsteps on the floor. judge with no shadow, don't call my name tonight. I got a mother's locket and a lie I held too tight. If heaven won't defend me, if hell won't let me go, send my soul through Jericho, where the dead men's whistles blow. I sold out a red-eyed Parker for a horse and 25. Told the law where he was sleeping, then swore I kept him alive. But I still hear his spur chain dragging slow beneath my bed, and the beans burn black at supper when I try to feed the dead. Oh, judge with no shadow, don't call my name tonight. I got a mother's locket and a lie held too tight. If heaven won't defend me, if hell won't let me go, send my soul through Jericho, where the dead men's whistles blow. The judge wound up that old watch, though the hands had turned to sand. Said every man who sells a brother buys a rope with his own hand. And the chairs began to creaking, one by one against the wall, and every face I'd run from came to hear the gavel fall. Oh, judge with no shadow, now I know your kind of light. It don't shine upon the living, it just opens up the night. No horse can outrun witness, no dust can hide the blow. I'll ride bowed down through Jericho, where the dead men's whistles blow. They found the courthouse empty and my locket on the rail, but 12 chairs faced the desert and one held my hat and veil. On a hill of ironstone, and the surveyor's chain lay coiled there like a snake that found a home. I measured land for cattle barons, marked the earth with wooden stakes, moved one line by 40 paces for a pouch of golden flakes. Old Ben Carter's little graveyard fell outside the deed by dawn. I said the law is ink and numbers, while his dead were moved along. Lay that chain down, lay it low, don't let the cold links know. Every foot of stolen ground has a root that won't let go. When the red dust starts to whisper, when the moon leans thin and wide, you'll hear the chain come dragging through Red Divide. Ben stood there with his hat off, holding flowers brown and dry. Said, my wife has slept here 20 years don't make me say goodbye. I drove my stake beside her marker, turned my horse and took the pay. By sundown every crow in town was facing Carter's way. Lay that chain down, lay it low, don't let the cold links know. Every foot of stolen ground has a root that won't let go. When the red dust starts to whisper and the moon leans thin and wide, you'll hear the chain come dragging through Red Divide. Last night beneath my floorboards, that old brass chain uncurled. It measured out my bedroom like it owned my little world. Then Ben's wife stood in the doorway with grave dirt on her gown, said, "Mister, mark the boundary where a guilty man lies down. Lay that chain down, lay it low. Now the links have found my soul. No paper fence can hold back bones, no paid-off judge controls. If they find my boots at sunrise by a stake no hand supplied, tell them I was measured by the chain at Red Divide. Red Divide was split by lightning on a hill of iron stone, and the chain keeps counting paces where I should have left her bones. Red moon hung on a broken steeple. Wind came crawling through the town. My horse knew better than to follow, but I pulled his reins around. There's a grave out past the dry wash with no name upon the stone. I put one bullet in my pocket and one secret in my bones. The saloon door swung like warnings, though the bar had long gone cold. On the wall my wanted poster looked a younger kind of old. Oh, the bell won't ring for me, not in the morning, not at 3. When the dust comes down on this God-left town, let the vultures take my plea. I rode too far from mercy, now mercy rides from me. Oh, the bell won't ring for me. I loved a girl with hands like water, eyes like lanterns in the rain, but I traded one soft promise for a pistol and a name. Her letter still inside my coat, creased where I folded shame. She wrote, "Come home before the sun set." I came back beneath the flame. Oh, the bell won't ring for me, not in the morning, not at 3. When the dust comes down on this God-left town, let the vultures take my plea. I rode too far from mercy, now mercy rides from me. Oh, the bell won't ring for me. By the cracked bell tower I heard her sing, soft as ash across the plain. My black horse bowed like he'd seen an angel or a ghost that knew my name. I laid my pistol by the marker, put my hat down in the sand. Then the wind picked up behind me like a judgment raising hands. Oh, the bell won't ring for me, not in the morning, not at 3. If they find my coat by the desert road, leave that letter where it sleeps. I rode too far for mercy, now mercy rides from me. Oh, the bell won't ring, the bell won't ring for me. At dawn they found my saddle and hoof prints heading east, but the horse came back without me, and the bell still held its peace. Tree Hollow had no dance hall, just a stump beneath the pine. But a fiddle played there nightly with no hand upon the line. I was fiddler for the cattlemen, played waltzes, reels, and lies. When they dragged young Eli from his cabin, I kept in their eyes. His wife stood barefoot in the doorway, holding flower on her sleeve. She said, "Mister, stop that playing." I played louder, not to grieve. Play, fiddle, play, where the black pine leans away. Every bow stroke cuts the silence of the truth I would not say. If you hear that tune at sundown, don't you follow, don't you stay. There's a song in Hang Tree Hollow that the guilty have to pay. Eli never stole their horses, never branded any hide. He only knew which rich man's cattle crossed the creek on the wrong side. They paid me with a silver buckle and a bottle wrapped in twine. By morning he was just a warning, and that buckle still was mine. Play, fiddle, play, where the black pine leans away. Every bow stroke cuts the silence of the truth I would not say. If you hear that tune at sundown, don't you follow, don't you stay. There's a song in Hang Tree Hollow that the guilty have to pay. Last night the fiddle found me in a drawer beneath my bed. Its strings were black as horsehair, and its wooden throat was red. Then Eli's wife came humming with flour still on her sleeve, said, Play the tune you played that night, but this time make it grieve. Play, fiddle, play, let the crooked cattle stray. Let the rich men hear the rope creak, in that they made pay. If they find my buckle buried where the pine roots split the clay, tell them I went dancing with the dead I played away. Tree Hollow has no dance hall, just a stump beneath the pine. But the fiddle plays there nightly, and the last note sounds like mine. Undertaker kept a lantern burning blue beside the door. Said it never lit for living men, only debts unpaid before. I rode in late from Mercy Station with a broken spur and cough. My coat was stiff with desert salt, my Bible pages soft. There were no cards upon the table, no piano in the room, just a glass turned upside down there like it knew I'd come too soon. Don't light the lantern, mister, don't hang my name in pine. I still got one more mile to answer, one more sin that still ain't mine. But the wind said keep on walking, and the stars went pale and still. When the undertaker's lantern burns, somebody pays the bill. They blame me for the banker's killing by the well at Abilene. I saw the man who fired the pistol, but fear kept my mouth clean. Now his widow wears my silence like a veil across her face, and every town from here to nowhere spits my shadow out of place. Don't light the lantern, mister, don't hang my name in pine. I still got one more mile to answer, one more sin that still ain't mine. But the wind said keep on walking, and the stars went pale and still. When the undertaker's lantern burns, somebody pays the bill. At midnight by the Rattlesnake Crossing, I heard a wagon in the sand. No wheels, no team, no driver, just a coffin with my hand. The lid was carved with scripture, the nails were cold and bright, and inside lay the guilty man wearing my face in the light. So light the lantern, mister, let it burn against the sky. Sumptuous crawl out of shallow graves when every lie runs dry. Tell the widow I was yellow, but I carried what I killed. When the undertaker's lantern burns, somebody pays the bill. Morning found 2 sets of boot prints where the dust had turned to red. One walked east toward judgment, one stop beside the dead. Bitter dusk had one old doctor with a lantern on his wall. Folks said he cured the living, but the dead still made house calls. I rode in wearing black wool, with my medicine bag in hand, sold little bottles full of river mud as fever tonic through the land. A miner's wife brought silver spoons, said, "Save my boy tonight." I touched his brow, took her last coin, and left before first light. Doctor, doctor, close your bag. Don't you hear that coughing wind? Every bottle on your shelf has a child's breath trapped within. If the lantern burns green at midnight and the floorboards start to crawl, bitter dusk is calling for the doctor after all. The boy had eyes like winter, small hands curled in a sheet. His mother laid a wooden horse beside his restless feet. I told her, "Ma'am, by morning he'll be standing at your door." By morning she was digging where the church grass grows no more. Doctor, doctor, close your bag. Don't you hear that coughing wind? Every bottle on your shelf has a child's breath trapped within. If the lantern burns green at midnight and the floorboards start to crawl, bitter dusk is calling for the doctor after all. Last night my bag flew open, though the latch was tied with wire. Inside that little wooden horse stood burning without fire. Then I heard small feet on gravel, heard a mother softly weep, and every cure I ever sold turned bitter in my sleep. Doctor, doctor, close your bag, but your hands are shaking thin. No grave forgets a promise made for silver and for sin. If they find my coat at sunrise near the child's toy by the wall, tell bitter dusk I'm answering as the doctor after all. Bitter dusk has no doctor, just a lantern burning green, and a wooden horse keeps rocking where no child can be seen. Mercy Sword had one tall clock tower leaning west above the square. It never chimed for weddings, only guilt that gathered there. I kept the gears and oiled the hands, wound the hour every night. The mayor paid me $40 to make one wrong hour right. A boy named Thomas wore the rope for a killing he denied. His pardon crossed the county line while I held back the time. When the clock strikes 13, don't you stand beneath that sound. Every bell you bend for silver brings the dead back into town. There's no dust deep enough for a lie to sleep unseen. Mercy comes too late, boys, when the clock strikes 13. His sister brought a basket with warm bread wrapped in white. Said, "Sir, my brother's innocent. The governor wrote last night." I looked down at the letter, then looked up toward the rope, and the minute hand above me turned as heavy as a stone. When the clock strikes 13, don't you stand beneath that sound. Every bell you bend for silver brings the dead back into town. There's no dust deep enough for a lie to sleep unseen. Mercy comes too late, boys, when the clock strikes 13. The tower breathes at midnight, though no wind can reach that high. And a boy with rope-burned collar counts the hours with my eyes. Last night the gears stopped turning, but the hammer still came down. 13 strokes across the desert, 13 graves around the town. When the clock strikes 13, don't you beg the Lord for more. Every borrowed minute comes collecting at your door. I spent $40, lost one soul I couldn't clean. Now my name is in the tower where the clock strikes 13. At dawn they found the clock face cracked, my boots below the stair, and one warm loaf beside me with Thomas written there. Mercy Ghost had one small barber shop with a chair that faced the wall, and a straight razor in the drawer there that would open when night would fall. I shaved sheriffs, thieves, and preachers, kept their secrets in the sink, heard more sins beneath a towel than most men dare to think. Then a rider came from Canaan with a scar beneath his chin. The banker said, "Now name him guilty," and pushed $10 in. Close that razor, mercy goes. Close that silver blade. Some lies don't die at sundown, some debts don't ride away. If the chair turns by itself and the mirror starts to dull, there's a man still waiting for judgment at the razor of Mercy Gulch. The boy they hanged was younger than the dust upon my floor. He said, "Sir, you shaved the real man yesterday at 4:30." I looked down at my apron, looked away from his mother's cry, and the banker kept his clean chin while an innocent man swung high. Close that razor, Mercy Gulch. Close that silver blade. Some lies don't die at sundown, some debts don't ride away. If the chair turns by itself and the mirror starts to dull, there's a man still waiting for judgment at the razor of Mercy Gulch. Last night the white towel lifted, though no hand was in the room. The chairs spun slow toward midnight, and the lamp burned courthouse blue. And the glass that boy stood waiting, with soap still on his face, said, "Mister, give me one clean shave before I leave this place." Close that razor, Mercy Gulch, but my hand won't let it be. The blade knows every silence that I sold for currency. If they find my shop at morning with a mirror cracked and full, tell the truth was finally sharpened by the razor of Mercy Gulch. Mercy Gulch has one small barber shop, but no barber keeps the key, and a chair turns toward the doorway for every liar it can see.